Welcome back to the Dr. Lady podcast. I'm Dr. Cameo Carter, pediatrician, mom of 3 boys, and someone who is very much in the thick of launching young adults into the world. This podcast is where we talk about the real work of raising humans, but also the real work of being a human. Here, we explore the intersection of medicine and everyday life, how to navigate our complicated healthcare system, how to advocate for yourself and your kids, how to move through womanhood and motherhood with honesty and strength, and how to build healthier families from the inside out. Each week, I share insights from my medical practice, my home, my perspectives on challenges facing us. My hope is that you leave each episode feeling supported, grounded, and a little more empowered in your journey, whether as a parent, a woman, or simply someone trying to make sense of the world. I was thinking a lot about the topic today that I want to talk about as I've transitioned to having all my kids away at school. And I was reflecting on a visit we had for Parent Weekend with my freshmen in college. We were walking along the beach up in Humboldt County, tossing a football, talking about life. We weren't talking about chores or deadlines or grades. We were talking about where he wants to go in life, what he's discovering about himself, what's hard, what's exciting. And in that moment, it struck me how much of parenting older kids is about tending the relationship, not tightening the reins. When our kids are little, connection is really baked into the routine. You read bedtime stories, buckle them into car seats, brush their hair, pack lunches. Proximity creates intimacy. But with teens and young adults, proximity often disappears. They're in their rooms more, they're busy, and suddenly the relationship isn't automatic. It's intentional. One of the most powerful things we can do during this stage is to stay curious about who they are becoming, not who we imagined they would be, not who we wish they'd be for convenience, who they are right now. And it means recognizing that we don't have all the answers all the time. You can have decades of lived experience and still not know exactly what they should do, and that's okay. Young adults don't need a director, they need a guide. They need someone who can say, I might not know the perfect solution, but I'm here. I'll trust you through it, and I trust you to figure it out. Being a safe place doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say, but it means listening without immediately correcting, letting them turn ideas over out loud, giving them space to process without fear of being shut down. Because if they trust you with their small thoughts, they'll trust you with their big ones too. Of course, parenting teens and young adults isn't all long beach walks and big conversations. Real life still has dishes, homework, deadlines, laundry, early mornings, and all the logistics that go with those things. But here's the key shift. The responsibility slowly needs to become theirs, not yours. Too often we think our choices are micromanage them into competence or back off and just hope for the best. Neither leads to maturity. But what does work? Creating a system where they bring updates to you. This means having a weekly or bi-weekly check-in, a calm scheduled conversations where they come prepared with like what assignments are due, what's going well, where they're behind, what they're working toward in the coming week. This changes the whole dynamic. You're not chasing them. They're stepping into accountability. And throughout the week, instead of constant reminders, you can simply say, add that to your check-in list so we can talk about it on Sunday, for example. This builds executive function, which is one of the most essential skills they'll carry with them into adulthood. One of the biggest sources of conflict in families that I've seen with teens is the drive-by request. Walking or bursting into their room with a sudden list of chores that need to be done right now. Imagine someone interrupting your workday every 12 minutes with, hey, stop everything. You need to do this too, right now. Instead of that, build rhythms that structure the home. For example, family daily chore time. Everyone resets the house for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe right after dinner. Or weekly reset where there's laundry, planning lunches, organizing. Predictable device rules, dinner times, and quiet hours. When rhythms are clear, nothing feels personal. They're not being ambushed. They're participating in the household culture. Rhythms create calm. Rhythms reduce conflict. Rhythms protect your relationship. Let's talk about 2 tools that make all of this sustainable: family meetings and family contracts. Family meetings. Think of these like the weekly board meeting for the organization known as the family. Short, predictable, and structured. Good family meetings include a quick review of the upcoming week, responsibilities, deadlines, and logistics, and celebrations from the week before. You can also include obstacles or stress points, one small improvement everyone will try. Everybody should be joining in. This is where your accountability check-in fits beautifully. It's not a confrontation, it's a ritual. Family contracts are also really useful and helpful, and they're often misunderstood. They aren't rigid or punitive, they're simply agreements. A family contract says, here's what's expected. Here's what you can expect from us. Here's how privileges grow with responsibility. Here's what happens when responsibilities are missed. It creates clarity. It reduces arguments. It helps you avoid making rules in moments of heat or frustration. A contract isn't about control. It's about ownership, consistency, and trust. And here's the part we forget. Connection isn't built-in check-ins or chore charts. Connection is built-in moments. When life gets busy, schedule fun. Walk together. Toss a football. Cook something new. Go get ice cream at 9 p.m. Have a long talk on the porch. These are the moments where teens and young adults open up. These are the moments that tell them, I like you. Not just because I'm your parent, but because you are someone I genuinely enjoy. When they feel loved in the ordinary, they will come to you in the storms. Thank you for spending this time with me today. These conversations mean so much, not just as a pediatrician, but as a mom who is learning and evolving right alongside my kids. If this episode encouraged you or gave you something new to think about, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who might need it too. And if you want more episodes like this, short, thoughtful reflections on parenting, relationships, motherhood, advocacy, and navigating healthcare, make sure you're subscribed. New episodes of the Dr. Lady podcast drop every Thursday at 5 p.m. And you can find more resources, stories, and conversations over on Instagram at Dr. Lady MD. Remember, parenting isn't about perfection. It's about connection, curiosity, and showing up, even in the messy moments. You're doing better than you think you are, and just make sure you're doing it with love. And I'll see you next week.